Hi everyone, welcome back to the new video. So far we have discussed 13 potential interview questions. We have also discussed the answers of it. So you can modify the answers accordingly and present your points articulately to interviewer. Now moving forward, we have another set of questions. So we'll start with the 14th question. What transformations are performed in each layer of the Medallion architecture? So that question is technically aligned. That means the interviewer might ask you to write the code of your Medallion architecture or what you have used in different layers. So what you can do, you can just go to the download code section of this project, and then you can download a code folder where we have the code for all three layers. So we have all in this particular project, the expert has also defined a code. We have the code explanation in the first part as well. So we will highly recommend you to go back to the first part and go through entire video structure so that you can get an idea of what is happening in different layer. Now coming back to the code structure, as you can see, we have different code folder. So inside the code folder, we have three different Jupyter notebooks: bronze layer, gold layer, and silver layer. That basically completes the execution of Medallion architecture. So the first layer we have is bronze layer. So inside this notebook, as you can see, the raw JSON files are being read from the ADLS, minimum transformations are being applied, and then the data is written in a delta format. For storing the data in the Databricks workspace, we are not writing it to another storage account because we want the data to be stored in the same Databricks workspace. Then we have silver layer notebook. So if I just open that, you can see in this layer, the focus is mainly on data quality and standardization. Missing values are being analyzed, as you can see. Then we are dropping unwanted columns, and so far we have done all the transformation that are needed in this particular layer. Then we have gold layer. So if I just open this Jupyter notebook, you can see the gold layer produces business ready data. It is adding filtering. It contains the additional filtering. New derived columns are created and date and time filter structure, whereas the aggregations are also performed. And after that, the output is written as a delta format, which is optimized for the analytics and Power BI. As you can see, we are writing the data in the CSV format in the tabular form so that later on, when the Power BI is connected to the gold layer data, and or you can say the data bricks, the visualizations can then be done on the analytics ready data. So this is how the transformations are being applied in this Medallion layer. We have three Jupyter notebooks for each and every layer. Now moving back to the another questions. So in the 15th question, the interviewer might ask you, how did you connect the Power BI to the Azure Databricks? Because as we have just seen that the analytical ready data was written to the Delta format in the Databricks workspace in the tabular format, whereas the Power BI is connected. Now, how Power BI is connected to the Databricks? So for that, in this project, what we have done is we have added the we have basically established the connection of Power BI to the Databricks using workspace URL, HTTP path, and access credential. And once connected, the Power BI reads only curated gold data, which was written by the gold layer, and then no transformations are done in Power BI because we have the data in the analytical ready format already. So this is how you can rationalize that how Power BI can connect to the Databricks. We have also the explanation of how the Power BI can be connected in this project. Although it's a very simple process, you just need to provide a workspace URL, HTTP path, and access credential. Then we have the question: what metrics did you consider while creating visualizations in Power BI? This question falls in the bucket of data analytics. So interviewer might ask you that after you connect your Power BI to your analytics ready data, what metrics or what visualizations have you considered while creating the dashboards in Power BI? So we have the extensive videos where the visualizations were created. So as you can see, we have the connection of that. So in this particular project, we have basically skipped the creation of the data Power BI dashboard. So for that, as you can see, if I go to the project details page, you can see we have the series project. And in the first part of the series, build data pipeline using Azure Medallion architecture. So if I just open this project, this is the first project in this Azure series. So as you can see at the end, we have extensive video explaining visualization using Power BI. So you can just go to the first part of the project and execute creating the Power BI dashboard. So you can explain that in high level summary KPIs, we have included the KPIs such as number of countries, number of determinants, number of bodies. So if I just open that, you can see in the first part of the Azure series, which is build data pipeline using Azure Medallion architecture. So we have included a KPIs like number of the countries, number of determinants, and then we have number of water bodies. So we have taken those considerations while creating the KPI, whereas in the interactive exploration, we have added as slicers for country determinant and reference here. As you can see, country determinants and water bodies and reference here. This slicers will allow you to interactively drill down and explore specific scenario. Then we have analytical and quality metrics. For deeper insights, we focus on water quality and concentration related data. That combination ensures our dashboards that supports a quick executive summaries. We have also included some calculated parameters like water quality index, normalized mean values, which allow fair comparison across countries and different parameters. So we have taken all these considerations in detail. So you can just go through the videos and then you can tell the interviewer what explorations and what metrics have you considered for creating the Power BI dashboards. So if you have already executed a part one project as well, you might have some good information of what is done in this project. Now moving to the next question, which is how would you conclude this pipeline? So this is a very common and tricky question. In this question, the interviewer might want to know the considerations of yours, that how do you conclude this pipeline. So what you can answer is, you this pipeline is not a pure streaming pipeline. The true streaming system each records its process even individually. In this project we have taken up the near real time and the real time consideration, whereas data is continuously added to the database. Azure Logic App fetch new records, so even through the so it processes groups of records together, and once the records are added to the SQL database, we have the components in the pipeline which are processing the records in such a way that no already not that already processed records are not going to be processed again. So this design provides near real-time insights, best cost control, easier debugging compared to pure streaming. So these are the factors that we have considered. Then we have other question that's the 18th question. How did you optimize Azure service cost in this project? So cost optimization is a core principle that so for example, the interviewer wants you to know the main importance of cost designing as well, because when we create any pipeline, what we need to consider is, we need to consider that the service which we are using will give us the optimization results, and these are going to be needed only when the execution happens. So in such case, what we have done is, we have done the incremental processing in this project. That means only new records are being processed, no repeated scans are being done. That saves the computation cost. We have added a event-driven triggers in our ADF pipeline. If you remember that, that means pipeline runs only when the new data arrives, and then there is no wastage of the compute. Then we have efficient Databricks storage. So in the Databricks environment, you can yes, you have gone if you have gone through the project, you might know that we are persisting the storage in the Delta Lake. That means we are not using some other storage level. That basically helps to include a cleaner data flow. Together, this decision significantly reduce storage cost, compute cost, and pipeline execution cost. Now moving forward to next question. Alerting is also important in data pipeline. How do you implement a logging and alerting in this architecture? So the simple answer could be is, logging and alerting are handled primarily at the platform level, not through the custom code. In the logic apps, we can run history, action level logs, and failure details. In the Azure Data Factory, we have the monitoring in the Azure Data Factory intact. That means if you're because ADF already has its monitoring capabilities intact, notification can be sent via email or other channels, which are being done in the logic apps as well. But that approach ensures that our project has centralized monitoring and faster troubleshooting when any kind of error happens. So now moving back to the last question, what retry mechanisms are available in ADF and logic apps? So this is the important question as well. So interviewer might ask you that what recry mechanisms are available in your project, specifically in ADF and Logic App. So you can say that each activity in ADF support retry policies where you can configure number of retry attempts although we have the monitoring enabled, but in order to uh, enable the retry attempts, what we can do, we can have our retry interval and retry attempts. This allows the pipelines to recover automatically from temporary issues. Then we have Azure Logic Apps. So retry behavior can also be handled at the action level. Many connectors automatically retry after transient failures. We don't have to do anything. Retry count and delay can be controlled. So that basically ensures that our pipeline is resilient, fault tolerant. We have the monitoring capabilities. So this is a way you can answer these questions from your interview guide. You need to think like a data engineer who has built, monitor, and optimize this real-time Azure data pipeline, not just implemented a simple project. So at this point, you might get some gist of what you need to explain to your interviewer if the questions are related to this. So these are just the potential questions. You need to prepare for other questions as well, because questions could vary in your interview. So you don't need to depend on this question. You need to prepare in a vast way. Although these questions will help you a lot. Now moving ahead, if I just go at the bottom of this interview guide, you can see at in the end we have the resume bullet points. Now what are these? So these are not some random bullet points. They are carefully structured and keyword rich. So if you know about this term, which is ATS, which is application tracking system, so that basically means most that system basically is like a parameter for basically passing out or screening out your resume. So companies use this tool today for resume shortlisting. So you can directly copy this resume bullet points for this project and paste it in the project section of your resume. You can also slightly customize them based on your experience level. So the idea behind this resume bullet point is simple. This explain the project in a clear, professional manner, and this will help your resume to pass ATS keyword screening. And it is this resume points are also communicating real world data engineering skills of your, and then improve your chances of getting shortlisted. So make sure you use those resume bullet points wisely, understand them well, and you can also modify it accordingly. So if you found this interview guide pretty helpful, make sure you practice this interview questions for your next interview, because that confidence is what really makes a difference in your interviews. So thanks for watching this video.